Flight Day 11 dawned on Space Shuttle Endeavour Sunday morning, and the astronauts who boosted the power of the International Space Station by installing the largest solar arrays ever built turned their attention to coming home, while Station Commander Bill Shepard and his crewmates, Yuri Gitsenko and Sergei Krikalev, tended to some light housekeeping while enjoying the open space in the Unity module, now accessible to the expedition crew thanks to the power from the new solar arrays. On the shuttle, Commander Brent Jett, pilot Mike Bloomfield, and flight engineer Mark Garneau activated an auxiliary power unit and tested the orbiter's flight control surfaces, which will be used to steer Endeavour during its landing, and then test-fired each of the reaction control system jets before joining mission specialists Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega in packing up the crew cabin. Sunday afternoon, Jett, Noriega, and Tanner took some time to discuss their mission in a series of interviews. Jett and Tanner remarked on the time their crew spent together with the expedition crew on board the station.
I think in the little bit of time I've had, I think the thing that holds the most personal satisfaction for me is the time we spent with the Alpha crew. Not only just getting to see some good friends, but we were able to do a lot of productive work with them, and I know it helped them out a lot. That gave us all, I think, a good feeling as we left. Actually, they look surprisingly good. They've been running on some nights only 4 hours of sleep, and I think the night we were there, they only got about 4 hours of sleep. But they were holding up really well, and I was just really impressed how well they got along with each other. It was really nice to watch them work, and I spent a lot of time over there working with them, shooting some IMAX shots, and I just really enjoyed being with them.
Tanner and Noriega began training for this mission's spacewalks more than 3 years ago. Noriega discussed his feelings at now being at the end of that long process.
It was just an absolutely incredible process getting here. I enjoyed all the training, and actually getting out there to do the work that all these people helped me to get to that point was just fabulous. And then actually seeing the accomplishments of all those people when we did the fly around and got a chance to see those deployed arrays and radiators and how much the station had grown during our visit was just a tremendous sense of satisfaction for me.
Endeavour's astronauts finished up their workday by conducting pre-landing communications checks and stowing items throughout the crew cabin. They're scheduled for a Monday evening landing at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida to conclude the 5th Space Shuttle mission of 2000.
Somewhere again, I'll go sailing.
Good morning, Endeavor. That was for Brent this morning, Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin.
Good morning, Houston, and thanks. It's always nice to hear the flip side to that record.
This is a live television picture from the cockpit of Endeavor.
Endeavor Houston with words regarding G2 to G8 transition on 4-6 of orbit ops.
Go ahead.
Endeavor, Brent, you can begin at step 3, and all we'll need today is steps 3 and 4.
Okay, we'll begin with step 3 and steps 3 and 4 only.
Endeavor's commander Brent Jett in the foreground with pilot Mike Bloomfield. The two beginning the first steps of a checkout of the shuttle's flight control systems, checking out the equipment that Endeavor will use for its return home tomorrow. One of the first steps in these checkout will be to start one of the 3 auxiliary power units on board the shuttle. Those are generators that provide power to the shuttle's hydraulic systems. That system will be one of the controls checked out. The hydraulics operate the shuttle's ailerons, elevons, and rudder during its descent into the atmosphere.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My first question is for Commander Jett. Now that your mission is almost over, could you reflect on it a little bit? Did you ever think things would go so well?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really had a chance to think back and reflect on the entire mission. Things did go very well. It was a very challenging mission, and up to this point, we had several things that didn't go exactly as planned, but we were able to get all our mission objectives accomplished. I think in the little bit of time I've had, I think the thing that holds the most personal satisfaction for me is the time we spent with the Alpha crew. Not only just getting to see some good friends, but we were able to do a lot of productive work with them, and I know it helped them out a lot. That gave us all, I think, a good feeling as we left.
I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Did you have any sit-back and relax time with the Alpha crew? Could you describe what you did, whether it was just a special dinner or just sitting around and talking?
Well, I would say the social time we did spend was over a meal. We went over to the service module and were able to share food. We took a couple food trays, and of course the Russians were very gracious and shared a lot of their food with us. So, I mean, that was pretty much the extent of the social time. I know the crews were working very late into the evening, right up to the sleep times, and in fact the Alpha crew stayed up much later than they usually do to accomplish some of our tasks.
For any of the three of you along those same lines, Shep had said a couple of days ago that he and his crew hadn't had much free time, and I'm wondering, did they look pretty beat to you?
Actually, they look surprisingly good. They've been running on some nights only 4 hours of sleep, and I think the night we were there, they only got about 4 hours of sleep. But they were holding up really well, and I was just really impressed how well they got along with each other. It was really nice to watch them work, and I spent a lot of time over there working with them, shooting some IMAX shots, and I just really enjoyed being with them.
For Joe, another question. I'm wondering if the Alpha crew, in particular Shep, was pumping you guys for information about news back home, maybe election stuff? Do they seem pretty well informed of what's going on down here on Earth?
Yeah, they seem to be pretty well informed, and they weren't really pumping us. They have frankly been so busy trying to get their things done. They were just overjoyed to have us there to help them out. We got them through a really tough day by working alongside them, and we all gathered around shortly after we ingressed, and Shep basically gave us our orders, and then we went out and executed them.
For Carlos, I'm wondering, can you tell that it's three guys living up there, and I mean that in a personal sense, clothes laying around, cluttered? Does it look like a bachelor pad pretty much?
Actually, it looked really sharp to me. I was impressed because I'd seen the pictures and the video of how the different modules looked after the different previous missions had been there and dropped off supplies, and I knew there had been a progress that had been offloaded recently, so I expected to find packages splashed to the walls and floors and ceilings everywhere you went, and surprisingly it looked very well kept. Everything was put away. The only things that were really out were the things that we had just bought, and those were in the process of being put away, and we helped to do some of that work, but it looked pretty good. I was really impressed.
Maybe, Carlos, you could also answer this question. I'm wondering about the noise level in the Russian segments. During the crew news conference, we could hear equipment running in the background, and frankly, it sounded pretty loud.
You can hear some fans if you choose to listen to it, I guess is the way. You think about it after a while, you just don't even notice it. In particular, I thought that it was actually noisier when I visited the Mir space station a couple years ago. And while it's a little higher than what we have here on the shuttle, I didn't find it to be really too bad.
This view now as Endeavour continues up the Mediterranean coast, crossing over the Spain-France border above the French Riviera and Marseille. These the French Alps, a nighttime view above France. The shuttle's crossing above Italy now, Torino and Milan. So, of course, we'll take it above Switzerland and at the Austrian-German border.